not so bad. So no Russia trip this year. So you're going to have to put up with me. So there. So we're going to talk about my journey as I search for me and mine. Now, we're going to talk about me. We like to talk about me. Everyone says that our favorite subject is us, our own self. So everyone likes to hear about themselves. So this journey of mine is also this journey of yours. So the journey searching for I and mine. So what does this mean? For us to understand this, we've got to think of what is the real journey? This is an illusory journey that we're on. What is the real journey? The real journey is an eternal journey in our eternal home, the spiritual world. So we're on an eternal journey there. But it's not a journey, not my journey. It's not in search of me and mine and I. This journey of the spiritual world is a journey in search of us, we, together. And him. We're all looking for him. Who is this him? We're looking for Krishna and how to serve Krishna. So you can see the differences between what I'm talking about, I and mine versus us and we. So there is, in the reality, the real world, there is an us instead of a me. There's a we. We are together. So how did this come about? If that's the real world, how did this happen? How did we wind up here looking for me and mine? All right, time's up. I gave him a chance to answer that. So I'm going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that talks about this very thing. We originate, if we had an origination, which we don't because we're eternal, but if we did, our home is the spiritual world. So in the spiritual world, it's arranged so that there's really nothing to do. Nothing. There's no necessity to maintain the place. No, you don't have to go to work every day. You don't have to earn money. You don't have all of these things that we have. I hear so many people talking about the distractions that they find in their lives. Distractions for pursuing spiritual life. Those distractions don't exist in the real world. They only exist here in this temporary world, you see. So in a world where there's really nothing to do except be in love. We all work. Everything that we do in this material world is to help us gain some loving experience. Isn't that true? We work hard so that we can earn a living. And ultimately, what we want from our job and our education and everything, at the end of the day, we want a loving experience. So this is the nature of you, the living entity. But there's so many distractions in this material world. We have to do so many other things. And relationships are very complicated in the material world. So how are they complicated? They're not complicated at all in the spiritual world. Why is that? Because in the spiritual world, everyone is in harmony. We're in complete harmony with each other. Instead of there being a me and a mine and I, there's an us and we, what we want together as a unit, not just what I want. When there is what I want versus what you want, you can see there's competition. I want the resources, you want resources. We're all trying because of me and mine and you and yours. You can see how there's a conflict. In the spiritual world, which is the opposite of this illusory world. In the real world, there's no conflict, not even the slightest bit. We all want the same thing. We want to associate with and to serve Krishna, the supreme source of love and the giver of pleasure. We want to serve Krishna not because it gives us pleasure, but because it gives him pleasure. The side effect of giving Krishna pleasure is we get pleasure. But we don't do it for pleasure. We do it for his pleasure. So in a world like that, where everyone is working together in harmony, you can see how love can blossom and bloom and flourish. In the material world, there is conflict. My interpretation of this and your interpretation of that, and why we do this and why we do that, is all, there's conflict. Why there's conflict in everything that we identify with. There's conflict because I identify with my body. You identify with your body. These bodies may be different colors. So that complicates things. I am a different color than you are. Well, that's just foolishness. No, we're all made of the same stuff. We're all part and parcel of Krishna, you see. So you can see how the spiritual world is uncomplicated. It's very simple. There are no things to challenge. I might say that my way of serving Krishna is better than yours in the spiritual world. But I'm not doing that to put you down. I'm doing that to try to serve Krishna. Maybe I'll try to outserve you, and you try to outserve me, you see. So, but when we come to this material world, we have to depart all of this continuity, all of this harmony. We have to let that go. Why? Because I don't want any more of it. I want to look out for me. I want self-interest. I want to be recognized. I want to do better than you. I want to be wealthier than you. I want to enjoy more than you. I want to take a part of this world that I'm in and declare it to be mine. I will work hard for it, and it's mine. I have the title to it. And if it's mine, that means it's not yours. It's certainly not ours. It's mine because I bought it. This is the material consciousness. In the spiritual world, does it matter what belongs to who? It doesn't matter. Everything belongs to Krishna. We belong to Krishna. Krishna belongs to us. If he belongs to us, then what's his is ours, and what's ours and his. None of that matters because there's no conflict. So maybe a little bit of enviousness develops from the living entity. And we decide that maybe we're tired of Krishna getting all the attention. I mean, he's the most beautiful. We're beautiful too, just not as beautiful as he is. We're charming too, but just not as charming as he is. So maybe there's a little bit of competition that develops between us and Krishna. So that's not going to work. We're not going to win that race. So we leave and come to this material world to satisfy our desire for the self. I want to please me. I have self-interest. I'm giving up your interest. I'm giving up Krishna's interest. I'm no longer concerned. Isn't that the way it is in the material world? We're not really concerned. As you drive through the streets of this town or any other, are you concerned what the other people that you may pass, what their desires are? Hardly the slightest. You're driven by your desires. I know where I'm going. I know why, and I know what I want. I'm not concerned what you want, unless it conflicts with me getting what I want. You see what I mean? This is the nature of the material world, and it's why it's such a struggle to even be slightly happy here for very long. You can see in the spiritual world, it's easy to be happy eternally. It's your nature to be happy eternally, blissful eternally, because there's none of this conflict with the other living entities there. There's no struggle for me to outdo you. We're in harmony with each other. Instead of a me, there's us. You can see the beauty in that, can't you? Can you imagine a world like that where there's us and it doesn't matter about me because I have us? There's we instead of just me. So let me read this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we can have questions. By the way, before I almost always forget this. Are there any people here for the first time? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our limit, 4.
I got 5.
All right, 5. You want 5? We have Bhagavad Gitas for you.
Put your hands up.
Put your hands up.
Okay, there's Chase, all the way from Virginia. Oh, and put your hands up.
So we're going to talk, and if you want to read more about what I'm talking about, read this Bhagavad Gita, and it'll turn on some lights. It'll enlighten you in spiritual knowledge. So Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 9th chapter, 2nd verse. We can supply you with Srimad Bhagavatams too, if you'd like. Where's he getting this? So you can read one of those if you like. The illusion living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the encaged living entity misconceives thinking in terms of I and mine. I wasn't happy at home. Krishna gets all the attention. It's all us and we and him. I want it to be about me and mine. So therefore I come to this material world to enjoy separately from the source of enjoyment, right? I want to love separately from the source of love. All right, you can do the math. That's not going to be possible. That's not going to work very well for you, is it? It's going to be a struggle. So you need some help. So Krishna has this servant, a very wonderful servant that does a very good job of helping you get confused about the real truth. And her name is Maya. Some people talk of Maya as if she's a bad entity. No, she's a great servant of Krishna, and she's your friend because she helps you get what you want. You want to enjoy separately from Krishna, so she's got this energy, and she's like, well, what form of life would you like to have? Why, we have 8,400,000 species of life in this material world, and you can enjoy. You can have a body, all these individual different, distinctively different bodies, and each one of them has a distinctive set of senses and sense objects. You have a particular type of taste, particular type of smell. You're entertained by a particular sound. We can even see that on this planet. What to speak of all the different species and our human species. As I was traveling, you go through different airports and different places, and you hear different music. Now, sometimes you go and you hear some ethnic music and you think, well, I don't really like that. That doesn't really do anything for me. And then you go someplace else and you hear some music, you think, hey, well, that's kind of cool. I like that. You know, who is that? I'd like to buy those albums. Not really, I don't want to do that. But, in the 70s I did. I was like that. I was stuck in Los Angeles for like 7 hours on the way back. And they had this, what I call elevator music playing, 7 hours. No place to get away from this. Unless I went outside, and I didn't want to go outside. So it was driving me crazy. So I'm thinking, some places I go and I hear some music and I think, well, that sounds pretty good, So even in this human form, we can see that I have a particular attraction to a particular type of music, to a particular type of food, even amongst our species, you see. What to speak of the different species. So Maya, depending on your particular desire, will see that you get a body and a particular set of senses so that you can enjoy according to your mindset. So 8,400,000 species. You hear us say that a lot. So what are all these species? So there are 900,000 varieties of material bodies in the water. 900,000 varieties of bodies that live in water. 2 million vegetable bodies or plant bodies. 1,100,000 worms and reptiles, legless, crawly creatures. 1 million forms of birds, things that fly. 3 million different bodies of beasts. Think of that. 3 million different beastly bodies. And then 400,000 human forms. Now you're probably doing the math in your head. Wait a minute. I can't think of 400,000 species of humans, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam is telling us this place isn't the only place that has life, nor human life. There are 400,000 species of humanoid. So, and only a few of them are represented on this planet. So there's your answer right there. People wonder, is there life on other planets? Yes, there is life. What about human? Yes, there are humans on other planets somewhere in this cosmos. So I found that interesting. 8,400,000 species, 400,000 of those are humans. So you can see that the choices that you have for enjoyment on a particular body. And so all of us have been here for so many billions of lifetimes. All of us have been through all of these 8,400,000 species again and again and again. So our journey in this material world, looking for I and mine, things that I can possess, things that I can enjoy, things that fit my taste, has been going on for billions, trillions of lifetimes. And here we are. We're not fully satisfied yet, are we? We're still looking. Now, here's the bad news. There's no end in sight. You're not halfway through this journey yet. You can go on, you're an eternal living entity. You can stay in this material world as long as you want, looking under every rock for this enjoyment that you're seeking, that you left home when you left. You see? I'm looking for enjoyment for me and mine. I'm on my journey. We hear people talk about, you hear it all the time, I know. My journey. How come no one ever comes up and wants to talk about your journey? They're not interested in your journey. My journey. Why, you see it on Facebook, my this and my, this is my vacation and here is me doing this. I think one of the weirdest things, probably one of the worst things that ever happened is cameras on phones, because it's made people do the craziest things. Well, I want a picture everywhere. I mean, I keep seeing these pieces of news about how crazy tourists are in national parks now. You know, guys that walk up to a buffalo in the field, a wild animal, taking a picture, you know. Some of them get trampled by the creature, you know. Or there was this one I saw on MSN News about people that were pulling baby bear cubs out of trees and holding them in their arms so that they take a selfie. You know. Look at me with a bear cub. Here's me standing right next to the edge of the Grand Canyon. Look at me on I, me, and mine. We're crazed by this. So, and it's really not making us happy, is it? No. All of us have had the pleasure of pleasing someone else, haven't we? You ever done that? Even if it's an accident. Maybe sometimes we do something that makes somebody very happy, even if you didn't intend to. Isn't that a gratifying experience? Okay, I don't see any nodding heads out there. You're supposed to, yes. Okay, that's better. Laughter is good too. I like a little laughter, a little humor. So yeah, to please others really is our true pleasure. That's Krishna's nature. He likes to see people pleased, entities pleased. We're part and parcel of him. We're just like him. He's the giver of pleasure. That's our nature as well. But here we are in this world of opposites. It's me and mine. So for us to ever get happy and feel satisfied, we've got to go back home where we came from and where we belong, into the world of us. We working together to please him and to please each other without expecting any return for ourselves. That is the key to happiness. And we can turn this journey around, our journey to nowhere, trying to please ourselves. I mean, how many selfies can we take in this material world before we get to the point where we think, this is rubbish? Why? I've been doing this for so many years. It's not making me happy. You know? So we can turn things around and we can end this journey that we're on. We don't have to go on for billions more lifetimes trying to enjoy. All we have to do is chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And what else does Prabhupada say when he says chant? Be happy. Just chant and be happy. If you chant and be happy, you're going to influence someone else to chant and be happy. Chanting and happiness go hand in hand. You see, it's not that chanting is going to make you sad or chanting is going to make you feel empty somehow. Chanting fills, it causes your cup to runneth over. The more you chant, the more fulfilled you feel. And the happier you become. The happier you are, the happier will be the people whose lives you touch. The souls that you touch will be happy because you're happy. They can become wise because you've become wise. When you smarten up, they smarten up. So this trip through this material world, trying to be independent, we were talking about this yesterday. We declared our independence. America did. We're independent, and we're so proud of it. We've declared our independence from Britain. We've got a Brit here, so I'm picking on her. You see. But for us to be happy as living entities, we have to declare our dependence. Boldly declare your dependence on Krishna. My dear Lord, if God is the source of everything and anybody with any brains has to agree that the source is God, whatever you want that to be, then you need to depend on that source, don't you? This is just plain logic. So I'm going to close and see, is there a question or? Yeah, let me see. Is there anybody out there with a question? Let me see. Oh, there's a guy back there. Yeah. What's your name? Kirtaneshwar Gauranga. Oh, first time? I think not.
Why does chanting make us happy?
Chanting makes us happy because this sound vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is a direct association with the supreme source of happiness, Krishna. Krishna's name and Krishna himself are one and the same. It's not like if you've got a friend named, what's your name?
Tristan.
Kristen?
Tristan. Tristan. With the
Tristan. So if you're like downtown, okay, and I say Tristan, you're still downtown, right? But your name is here. You see how that works? But if I say Krishna, well, Krishna is like right there, and that's sound. Krishna's with you when you say that. It's very attractive. Even if we just say Krishna, you can take Krishna out of the Maha Mantra, and that's still attractive. Any part of the Maha Mantra is attractive. So anything that has to do with Krishna, his name, his beautiful form, his pastimes, things that he do, just give us pleasure. That's proof that he's the source of pleasure. He's the giver of pleasure. He is Govinda, the giver of pleasure to the cows and the devotees. So did that answer your question? Did you have a quick one? Oh, he doesn't. Oh, that's right. Sometimes his questions are. Yeah. Oh, really?
So with the Maha Mantra, can we then, on the Maha Mantra, are we experiencing the spiritual world, and does that free us from the I, me, and my?
Yes. It reconnects us with us. It reconnects us with the spiritual energy. It's hard for us to remember that there is a predominating we. We want that. But in this material world, because I want what I want, you want what you want, and the same goes for everyone else, who do you trust? You see, maybe if we're on the same football team, for the moments that we're on the field playing, we're all going for the same thing. We want to move the ball downfield. So we're working together. So there's this camaraderie that develops. You see? Where is the camaraderie in day-to-day life? I've got my thing, you've got your thing, you see? So, does that make sense? Does that answer your question? We need to get back to the real world, the real consciousness of us and we. We are a unit. We're all one in that our desires are all the same. And that's to please Krishna. But we're unique. We're not all one big soup. We're unique. But we are one because we're all working for the same goal. And that gives us great satisfaction. All right. Have I got time for another one?
Yes.
All right. Quick one.
It said in the
Quicker. I'm just kidding.
Some, like, everybody has like a different purpose for being here. Otherwise, like, because nature's efficient, why would we all have the same purpose for being here? Does that apply in the spiritual world as well? That everybody like pleases Krishna in a unique way?
Yes. Yeah. Each one of us is exactly the same. And at the same time, every one of us is completely unique. Each and every living entity, and there are infinite living entities, we provide a particular type of enjoyment to Krishna. We enhance his ecstasy in a particular way. Each and every one of us makes our own unique contribution that gives him great pleasure. He's God. He doesn't have to have the same old, same old. He can have infinite numbers and everything totally different. And at the same time, very much the same. So Krishna can do that. So we're all the same in that we're part and parcel of him. Our DNA is the same, but we're all completely unique at the same time. Does that answer? Is that a good answer? All right. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
इसको जीवानंद प्रभु की
Jai.